Okay, my friends, before we get into this fight, I'm afraid I have to do a little bit of a PSA, so just bear with me for a few minutes while I explain something about this particular episode. Basically, it's another one of these sessions where I've had to come back a few months later to redo something that I originally did in the past for the Masters mod. Now, Karifean has generally done an incredible job with this mod. I have praised him endlessly throughout the mod. But of course, with every type of mod that you do, sometimes there's just some things that can go wrong. And something unfortunately went wrong with the fight that I had against Dark Anima originally. So this wasn't a case of, let's say, I completed the fight and I was like, this is a bit too easy or this is a bit too hard, and Karifean made some tweaks. Unfortunately, what actually ended up happening was that I did experience the fight, I found it a bit, easy, and then I explained to Karifean what happened, and then he was like, oh, that shouldn't have worked like that. So apparently, in terms of some of the actual function of the fight, certain things went wrong, and I didn't get to experience Dark Anima properly. And so what I'm doing now is playing the most recent version of the mod, where those issues should be fixed, and I should be able to experience Dark Anima at full throttle and as intended. But what I didn't want to do was kind of act and basically pretend that I'd never seen him before and be like, oh my god, this is so cool and whatever. I wanted to basically let you guys know that I did fight Dark Anima. It didn't go as planned, and we're doing a take 2 on it. And so what I want to do is, this is the setup that I had. Apparently, this is literally the save file before my winning attempt that I had in the first version that I fought. And my plan is to basically go in with whatever setup that I had made for myself at the time. Let me literally have a look back, because it has been a few months since I last did this. And so, honestly, I don't remember too many details. I remember the main hook of the fight. But in terms of more specific details on my setup and all of that kind of thing, I don't remember what I had going. So, this was apparently the setup that I had, which already looks pretty interesting and pretty different to what I had. I think, yeah, okay, I think I understand why I've got this going now. So these are, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because obviously while I'm setting it up, I would have included that footage, and so you will see how I arrived at this particular setup in the first place. I think I might show the first few minutes of each fight just to give you a flavor of generally what's going on. But in terms of editing, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to approach it, so we'll just see. But for now, I'm showing you anyway, just so you get an idea of what the setup is. Again, lots of elemental nulls happening. Interesting. Okay. So there's still quite a lot of gaps in the slots. I still didn't decide to go completely all in, but this version of Dark Anima will be more difficult than the one that I defeated, because this one's basically not gonna have the same issues as the previous one and be fully functional. Basically, the issues that I previously had, I think Karifean could probably explain in the chat if he's in today, but when you actually play the fight, it looks relatively normal, as in it's not immediately obvious that something's broken or missing from what Karifean intended. But then when I explained it to him, there were certain functionalities of the fight that didn't actually manifest in the version that I fought. So let's jump in for the first attempt. I'm going to need some time to get started and get used to things as well. And so this one could be a problem, because I don't know how much more difficult this is than what I defeated in my session a few months ago. So let's jump in and have a look at the mighty, the iconic Dark Anima. Here we go. So immediately, S tier change, we have the Seymour battle theme, which I think is a great shout for this one. It's just such a great theme. While this plays, there is something I need to do, because I most recently did the Auto Haste live stream. What I'm going to do here is turn off the Grant Permanent Sensor. Okay. And so now, there you go. So Crazy Anima, and we don't know what's going on. So for this first attempt, let's get a scan in immediately. See what we're working with, because the hook of this fight is so fascinating and so interesting. And I think when I asked Karifean what his favorite fight of the series was, that he created, he said I think the Dark Anima was his favorite one. And we'll probably get an idea as to why once I perform a scan. Let's have a look. Well, he's got a sensor and it says status mirror is active. Let's take a closer look. Okay. So, 2.56 million. Compared to the numbers that we've been seeing so far, 2.56 million is huge in relative terms. It's like a lot less, obviously, than the vanilla game, but our stats in relative terms are way lower too. Now, whatever statuses she has, your party has exactly the same ones. Use them with caution and to your advantage. Zombie can be very effective. Ooh. So literally, he's giving you free reign here. Immunities are KO, Petrification, and Inject. That is all. Everything else is fair game. And if you look at the elemental affinity, you can see why I'd built Tidus with a triple elemental weapon here. Let's have a look. First move, physical attack, hits everybody, and does an incredible amount of damage. So that was a pretty short-lived first attempt, but at least now we know what the deal is, what is the hook of this fight. And it is absolutely fascinating and very, very different to anything that we've experienced before. So, let me reload here. Let's jump back in again. So whatever status she has, that's what your character's at. Now, I believe that means you can't give yourself statuses and buffs. So for example, this is, again, I'm going to start a bit more by showcasing here. It might be like a 2-episode thing for Dark Anima, depending how it goes, we'll just see. But this fight is so cool that I think it's worth taking the time to really show what's happening here. So normally, almost every single fight that I ever do, you see me come in with First Strike and Hasker on my party. So you could think, for example, because it's a status mirror, if you haste yourself, she also gets haste, which would be a reasonable thing to assume. But then you do it, and it just says miss. And nothing happens. So you can't, it seems like you cannot afflict yourself with these statuses. Yeah, Lulu's evasion's too high. Rip. So it can use elemental spells too that hit everybody. Wow, Lulu survived that. What a beast. But like, for example, let's just test a few more of these. Sleep Buster. Yep, you really can just straight up put it to sleep. Just do this the whole fight. Just work our way through. 37. Was that a crit? That was a crit, surely. Yeah, so we can just like stun lock her with sleep. Happy days. So it's really, really interesting. We've got 2.56 million to take out. Let's see if triple foul works. I'm actually curious. It does. Now, another thing that might be interesting is, could you put a status on, revive a character, and then the revived character doesn't have it? Like, can you break the status mirror by doing that, I wonder? We'd need to survive a turn for that to even be something we can test. Let's see. Just thinking maybe there's a chance Auron survives the physical attack if it uses it. So zombie and poison. Oh god, still uses pain. So we've had pain, a physical attack that hits everybody, and magic that hits everybody. And pain is just as painful as ever, but poison did 51,000 damage. Maybe it's a fight worth doing while being poisoned the entire time. Maybe. That's a huge amount of damage that we get to do. Okay. So now that we understand some more of those aspects, let's go back in. I think the first thing we need to try and avoid is getting wiped out by the physical attack and by the spells. Now, does delay affect everybody too? And if you use threaten, does everyone get threatened? Like, some crazy potentials here. What about cheer? Because cheer's not a status, right? So we should be able to cheer, surely. So there's just so many interesting things that we could do here. So I think for starters, let's play around with Reflect. So this helps to potentially get rid of the spells. And then let's do a full break for now. Just go on the defensive. Try and see if we can stay alive. Mega Graviton is still a thing. Okay, can't be reflected. So I think that might be a clever counter to if you have Reflect on, for example. Okay. Let's see how much damage Lulu does with some Fire Arca. Let's just double check that the Reflect is on. Status 1. Power Break, Magic Break, Arm Break, Mental Break. So even though we're Magic broken, I feel like the elemental weakness of Dark Anima might level the playing field a little bit. So let's just try. $13,000. It's not as much as I would have liked. Okay. So Tidus can come in and do a lot of damage in this fight. He's got the break damage limit armor, correct? Yeah. Switch to this. And let's see how much damage we do now. 22k, not bad. Given that he's power broken as well. Yeah, the status mirror is just absolutely fascinating. Ooh. That's a lot more damage than I thought. Wow. It's power broken, though. Holy crap. But I guess we have armor break. That's why. So we need to do power break and magic break. I think that's for starters. And then that way we can keep our defenses higher. So we need to figure out like which suite of debuffs to put on that's not going to affect us. Let's go in again. I think the one nice thing about this fight is that depending on kind of how it plays out, you don't get blown away instantly from the beginning of the fight. Just want to see how quick Riku is relative to Dark Anima. Nah, Dark Anima is quicker than Riku, so haste is not something that we want. I think I'm not going to fiddle around with slow or haste at all. I do like the reflect idea. I think that's still a good move. And then we're going to do power break only for now. Okay, good damage from Waka here. Okay, bring it back. Nice alchemy there. Now, I want to see if Chia, I can get that to benefit just us. Like, I assume because Chia's not a status, like it can't miss in that sense. But let's have a look. So we got Reflect on, Anima has Power Break. Pain, like we're going to have to obviously use up some Phoenix Downs, but then we'll be okay. So these Chias can offset the power break at least to some extent. Mega Graviton, okay. Let's see. I mean, you could also, for example, put darkness on, but have, and then kind of just use overdrives yourself, or use magic. If we're mental broken, I don't think it matters if it only uses Mega Graviton. And then the spells could still do a lot of damage. Also an interesting idea. Zombie could be very effective. Question is, why? The problem I have with Zombie is that I just can't do a lot of damage when an enemy is zombified. Like, I'm not going to toss X potions at it. If I use Curaga on it, it's decent damage, but it's surely not better. Like, I'm not exactly sure why he thinks Zombie is is really effective. I think he uses very effective. Zombie plus regen, I assume. I think this is one where Zombie plus regen is possible. And then it would be an HP management game that we could obviously win because we'd be able to heal. Well, we wouldn't be able to heal, but we'd need like we'd need Ether protection to do that. So it's a dangerous game, but you can set yourself up, I think, to be able to exploit that pretty heavily. So I can definitely see the merits now. That's where it starts to make sense. Regen plus Zombie, very powerful in this one. But obviously it would mean that we're regened and zombied ourselves, and we wouldn't be able to heal. I guess we'd have to get rid of it. Like, we could use Isuna on Dark Anima and then just heal and then reapply again. So it seems like it could be doable. I want to go for the mental break first. I just want to try this. Swap unit out. Riku has alchemy. I'm gonna use an Albed potion here. I want to see the physical attack damage. Here we go. Oof, still 4,400 on Riku. Because she doesn't have the cheers yet. But for the boys, that's not too bad. And we do have overdrives here. Let's bring in Kimari for a sec. Yeah, I need to run a proper scan. I think the attacks could be randomized, so it might do multiple physical attacks in a row, which we do not want to see. This is one of those, again, where because I'm having to come back, I'm not going to be able to match the resources of what I had moving forward, so I'm treating this more as like a singular fight to win. But not like just spamming, I don't know, all of my mega... Well, my one Mega Elixir, all of my Turbo Ethers, all of my Mega Phoenixes. Like, I'm going to try to obviously avoid doing that. But here and there, I'm definitely going to be using some stuff. But another physical attack already takes me out. Yeah, that physical attack, even with Power Break, is a lot more deadly than I thought. It's tough. I think, to that end, maybe worth putting Protect on it for now. Let's see. Oh, I reflected. It's gonna miss now. Yeah, I should have done it on myself. Undaga. Oh, it still casts it. Oh. So okay. I thought like the whole Mega Graviton thing was just a smart mechanic where it recognizes that you have Reflect, so it uses something that bypasses Reflect. Not the case. I still want to put Protect on ourselves for now. Basically, I want to ensure survival first, as I often do, and then from there, we're going to like pick apart certain aspects, hopefully, and work it through. Such a great concept for a fight. I absolutely love it. Brilliant. But I think we're going to die now. Well, Yuna's going to die if it's a physical attack. Yeah, probably. Oh, a miss. Interesting. I think just for now, we're going to do this. Okay. So we've got some overdrives coming our way. I think other than this, we need to figure out how to deal with the overdrive. Obviously, making sure we have an overdrive ourselves is probably useful. Right, want to make sure we survive here. I will do Dark Buster for that reason. It's only one turn anyway. Don't be Tidus. If this is Tidus, I might be in trouble. It's Tidus. Let's... So no Aeon Shield to help us this time. Can she quick pockets Tidus back? She can. I guess it would help fill overdrive potentially, but let's just leave it alone for now. Right, let's have a look at this overdrive. Alright, here we go. Yep, all of my MP is gone, so in that sense it looks very similar. Oh, yes. Now I remember. It doesn't kill you. Shit. It doesn't kill you, but it cripples you. Okay. Let's see. I think to steady the ship, I'm going to bring Auron in. Okay. Holy on itself. Oh, it bounced the Holy. Okay, it's smart enough to bounce the Holy. Fair enough. Yeah, we need to play catch up. Let's see. Damn it. Yeah, this is the downside. Reflect is always the worst. Reflect is always the worst. It's the best and the worst. So we're wasting a lot of resources here to hold on. This is definitely not ideal. So I think there's no point using Cheer because Pain will just take away your options anyway. Like you'll just get KO'd and lose the Cheer. Yeah, it's really not a good idea. Let's have a look at Old Faithful here. It's been a while since we used it. Demi breaks through Reflect anyway, so I don't need to worry about it. So yeah, you do get your maximum damage with Demi. Damn, 2 turns in a row. Let's bring in Speedier Riku. The Alchemy as well. Is there anything else we can do to it to really ensure our survival? I think we just keep it under darkness, honestly, for the most part. Let's do dark attack, I think. We've definitely seen that the physical attack can miss, and so for now, I think we'll be relatively safe if we do this. Other than Holy and Pain. And then maybe once we brought it down enough with Demi, and Demi starts to do less damage, then we try to finish it off with physicals. Okay. When an enemy has Reflect, could you kind of reflect Osmos off yourself, or does it not work like that? It's been a little while, I need to check this. You can. Okay, good. So Darkness still there. Mari. Try to conserve some Phoenix Downs, I guess. Yep. So that's working pretty well. Let's see. Is there anything anyone else can do? I'm trying to think what other statuses can we dabble with to help us out here. There's just so many things that you could potentially try and do. Like, you could both silence and darkness to really cripple Dark Anima's moves, and just try to purely do your damage with like poison or something. But then obviously you need to figure out how to heal yourself. It would be resource intensive, but if you had like Eater armors prepared, you could really work some magic with that. There's a lot of cool things you could do. Yeah, trouble with this is if you're working with Reflect, I don't think you can heal using magic, because you can obviously bounce the spell off Anima, but then you wouldn't know who's going to be on the receiving end, so you'd have to rely on physical hits. And you have Darkness, so even with that, there's a lot of factors to consider. There's a lot of things that kind of cancel each other out. So you might think, oh yeah, okay, I can develop like a cool Element Eater strategy, but then you also have to really pay attention to what statuses you have and how you're going to do that. Are you going to do it using magic? Are you going to do it using physical attacks? And then obviously what statuses will you have on your characters if that's the case? So just a lot going on with that as well. I'm really curious about zombie and regen. It just seems like such a cool combination. I kind of have to see it play out for a little while, I feel. So screw it, I'm going to do it. Ah, he's got Darkness, he missed. So what I mean, you have an idea in your head and then you forget what the playing field is, because you're constantly messing around with stuff and experimenting with it. So in that sense, it's a very forgiving fight. I think it's pretty easy to stay in the fight, but it's difficult to engineer a situation that really just works heavily in your favor and starts to make the fight easy. And again, that's such a difficult thing to do, because you're opening the fight up so much to do almost anything. And it feels like, oh, okay, I can find ways to exploit this and make it really easy for myself. But then when you try to do it, you're like, ah, shit, like I forgot about this, or I didn't consider that. And suddenly it doesn't look as easy as you thought. And so it still, I think, goes down as a difficult fight. But I still think it's more forgiving than something like a Dark Yojimbo, for example. Let's start here. Shiva was absolute MVP of the last auto haste session. She took out Seymour and Anima, funnily enough. Anima will get the last laugh this time, but I guess she automatically survives She only has a Blizzara. That's a shame. I'm thinking her magic stat must be pretty high. Like, she could probably... Because she's going to survive Oblivion anyway. We'll get some extra damage. Yeah, so she should have had a Blizzaga. That would have been nice, but oh well. Can we speed this up? Yeah, we can. It's a really long animation. After you've seen it a few thousand times as I have at this stage, you kind of speed up. Okay, now it's my turn. Max damage. Hell yeah, okay. It's a nice 113k contributed by Shiva. Thank you for your service. But you can see, you can take really big chunks out of Anima in this fight, but that's why she also has 2.5 million HP. So it's still a lot of work to do before we can take her out. Now, let's do... I do want to get a scan in at this stage. I'll remember to bounce it. For once. Yeah, with Reflect bouncing, I feel like I get it right for a certain amount of time, then my mind wanders. I think about a different idea or strategy, and then I forget that Reflect exists. Alright, so at least we can see that now. Power Break, Mental Break. Let's put Darkness back on. So this is working well for us, I think. There we go. It doesn't seem to be hitting through the darkness as well, which is a good sign. Because as I say, I don't think we can really use many things like Reflex. Okay. Alright. Let's keep going. Still a long way to go here. But you can find a lot of... There must be a lot of really cool exotic setups that people have gone for in this fight. Yeah, so not a lot Waka can do here. Just wondering, like, Riku Overdrives, are any of them particularly useful? Again, I feel like not really, because... Yeah, it's just not that useful. There's nothing she can do attackingly that would be massively impactful, I feel, Overdrive-wise. And defensively, since we're going to get hit with pain regularly, we're just going to lose whatever buffs she can give us anyway, so I'm kind of like, what's the point? If we need some kind of immediate heal or auto life or something for whatever reason, then yes, but by and large it doesn't seem that useful. So what we can do, potentially, is get rid of Power Break if we maintain with Darkness. But it would be a very dangerous thing to do to get rid of it, because we have Reflect on right now. At least that way, though, we'd be able to get physical attacks back on the map. But for now, just to do some more damage, let's just do some of this. Yeah, it's not a lot. When you can double cast Demi for 200,000 damage, this just feels a bit silly. We'll keep Yuna out for overdrive purposes. Oh yeah, she can attack. She can attack more magically now. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I don't need this. Whatever setup I think I was going for, I guess I'm probably playing it differently now. Yeah, that one does max HP damage. Not current. I don't know how many times back to back it can use it. I guess there's always a chance, so I need to be careful. I'm not sure it has any more MP. I haven't been paying attention to if it regains MP. No, okay. That's a bit of a problem. Of course, it was Yuna herself that got hit. Need to get the darkness back on. Remember that. Yeah, so right now I've got two kind of opposing things. On the one hand, because previously I was letting it hit me with the physical, I put on like Power Break and Protect and stuff. But then I was like, wait a minute, I can actually just keep it in darkness, and now those two things are obviously clashing with each other. But it's a bit of a pain to kind of remove it and then try to get things back on again. But I might try in this round. Let's see what happens. Yep. So, I'm going to start with a Dispel. So this is a big risk, obviously, getting rid of all of this stuff now. Okay. Did Kimari no Reflect? I hope so. Yes. Okay, we're going to put Reflect back on. It's not using its elemental spells much anymore, by the way. Okay, so now I should be able to do more damage again. But Overdrive is coming next. Bring Riku out. Yeah, the MP loss is going to be a little harsh, but I think that's where Riku's Overdrive can come in. She can restore MP with an Overdrive. So I think that might be a good call. Who would benefit from an Overdrive? I think Lulu would, and she doesn't have MP anyway, so whatever. I so want to put Bio on. So I need to research my Riku mixes here to get some MP back on these guys. So we can do some more of this. It's just really weird that Oblivion doesn't kill you. Okay. Yeah, Yuna can do some nice damage as well, so I'm just gonna wait with her. So, a bit of patience here. And then Riku comes in and does a mix, but I'm going to have to look up my mixes again to see which one restores. Basically, I need her to mix a Megalixir type thing. So, from what I'm seeing, I could mix something like literally an antidote and a map. Sheesh. That's so cheap. I love it. Okay. So now, Yuna's in a position to be able to do some damage as well. She has... this. Oh yeah, shit, Yuna has Ultima now? I kind of forgot. I think we'll go with this. She has double cast too. Remember to bounce. Yeah, not bad. It's something. So I feel like the ladies could basically take charge of this situation and then just have someone coming in for darkness. Someone like Waka. So we're almost halfway there, and things have settled down a bit now. 45k, wow. Good. Waka dies. It's fine. He's not using his MP for much else right now. Let's just do a quick revival. And now I think let's get a Lulu Overdrive going here. Unleash the Fury. Alright, 9 demis, let's go. That's enormous, enormous damage. Probably the single most damaging move that we've seen in the whole mod. Spun that analog stick like my life depended on it. Mega Doom. What? Holy crap. Okay, I'm not even sure this happened last time. I'm not sure. I don't think this happened. I need to check back, but I don't think that happened last time. What? Even if it did, it still shocked me the second time. Crap. Okay. I mean, that's a bit unfair. That doesn't look like a mirror to me. 128. That ain't no mirror. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna leave Waka dead for a second just to kind of desync a little. I think. And I'm gonna leave unit in to hopefully get the overdrive. There's no way to get rid of Doom, that's why it's such a clever status to use in this fight. If this hits Yuna, oh god, it's gonna get 2 turns. So everything was looking, oh wait, it was Yuna. Things looking pretty swimming, and then it just suddenly changed. Quick pockets. And obviously Pain doesn't charge overdrive, which makes it a problem. And speaking of problems, darkness is gone. So we have to put it back on, except we can't. And now we have a problem. Now we have a problem. That's a really bad set of circumstances here. I mean, our main hope is like a smoke bomb. How many do we have? 2 smoke bombs left. Yeah, because if it does its physical attack, we'll get destroyed. Is there any other way to afflict darkness? I do wonder what happens on the threaten. Everyone just gets threatened. I think Waka, I was going to say it's only Waka with evade and counter, right? So he could have evaded the physical attack. This is rough. I think using a smoke bomb feels like the only way out at the moment. Or we reflex and hope for the best. Obviously it might not be a physical attack at all, but you have to be careful and kind of assume that it could be. And if it is, and if it hits everybody, then obviously literally game over. So, highly dangerous situation here. I think just for the sake of making it through here. I feel like with only 2 left, I just really don't want to use it. I don't know how many I used. Like, did I really use both of them in the rest of the playthrough? I'm just going to use a smoke bomb. Gotta stay alive. Okay. Better. Still no overdrive, unfortunately. I think if Waka stays dead, then he doesn't lose his MP. Basically, I know that Oblivion's going to be the next move, so... Swap to that. And then in order to preserve MP again, we just do this. Yeah, because Auron doesn't really need his MP that much. Just thinking, does Magic Break really make a difference? No. Mental Break? No. Because we're working with Reflect. Power Break. Ah, he had triple foul. I did not realize, but it gives you sleep. Alright, I'm just gonna trigger the overdrive here. Still kicking. And yeah, we've managed to kind of desync the party so that we don't all die at the same time, so that's also good. And we can go back on the attack now, I think. It is under darkness. And Reflect is on. So I think we keep up the pressure here. Really start getting it down close. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna bring Yuna back in here. Actually, no. Just to kind of reset the clock for Riku, I'm gonna do this. Give these guys their HP back. This should pump some overdrive. Yep. Okay. Need to make sure we can swap Waka back in for some darkness later. I say screw it, let's just use Ultima. Especially with the half MP cost. Riku will get another overdrive eventually. Only 16? Wow, bad. Yuna's magic is lower than I thought. I guess she doesn't have the magic booster and stuff on either. That would have made some impact. Yeah, again, compared to Demi, it's just comically low. Yeah. A single Demi does more than twice the damage of a double cast Ultima. It's just nuts. Okay. Oof. Right. He's out of MP. I always wanted to keep 20 Mega Phoenixes to leave enough for Auto Phoenix customization, so I won't use another. Okay. Yeah, a lot of pain coming in, so again, those overdrives just not moving. That's the downside. But we're getting there. Yeah, because it was a smoke bomb, the darkness has lasted a long time here. Let's bring in our Oblivion defense team, and not attack and poison it this time, maybe. Yeah, I kind of want to keep Riku out for the overdrive. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, give everyone higher HP, so that obviously more overdrive fills using Comrade. And then we should be able to just use an overdrive immediately after that. I think this works out. So barring any major mistakes, I think this battle should be under control and won from here. But it's just really fun. I feel like basically you watch 10 different videos of this, it probably plays out in 10 different ways. So it's probably one of the most fun for Karifean to watch as well. I need to remember exactly what didn't work in the initial kind of run that I had. And I'm hoping that whatever this is, like this is truly the correct version. But I remember Karifean himself saying, for example, he thought the Dark Yojimbo was definitely more difficult than Dark Anima. So Dark Anima wasn't designed to, for example, specifically be the next most difficult one after, say, Penance or Dark Magus Sisters together or something. And well, I did fight Dark Anima once before. Even if it wasn't the exact same thing I'm fighting now, I do have some experience this time. It's definitely helping. That MP back. And from here we should be able to crunch through to the finish, I think. Let's see. Okay. Ultimate 180. How much left? 148,000, that's not a lot. That's a bit better. There's just so many different approaches you can take, it's pretty awesome. Now, one approach we do need to take is to put Darkness back on. It is going to get 2 attacks back to back though, which I don't like, but... 40,000, that's why I'm saying, like, I think the first time I fought this, this battle, I think I had a physical setup. Because you can just get so much damage. Yes. I really want Tidus to get an attack in with his, like, triple element weapon, but we should almost be there now. 24k, nice. $20,000 left. Yeah, can't use a Kimari Flare, unfortunately. I want to see, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to finish it with an Anima Oblivion. Anima comes out with Doom as well. Some Anima on Dark Anima action here. Love it. Alright, let's go. You didn't get to see the damage. There it is. Okay. 91,000. Cool. And there we go. Dark Anima. Well, crazy Anima in the Final Fantasy X Masters mod. Definitely one of the most unique fights of the entire mod. Status Mirror is an absolutely awesome concept. I really, really like it. So yeah, in terms of what we received, equipment, setup, how I use the sphere levels, I'm going to cut back basically to the original playthrough. And then see how I end up using it in that one. And I think that means that I'm able to move on. Now, I will check just in case like something in that fight didn't, again, like work out as it should have, but I'm pretty sure that was the intended version. And I think I would say there's conflicting emotions a little bit here, because on the one hand, I absolutely love the status mirror. It's basically, I think, probably one of my absolute favorite things that I've seen in the whole mod. I think it's genius. But obviously, does that open the door to a lot of strategies that make life actually relatively easy? I would say yes. It probably makes this Dark Aeon fight a bit easier than I would have imagined. Like, I think you can come to this with much lower levels, especially if you're using stuff like Demi. You can kind of cripple Dark Anima in so many different ways, where even if, obviously for the most part, you're also affected by this, you'll be able to find a way to do damage and to be able to win the fight. So is it still a bit easy? I would say it is still a little bit easy, but I'm not exactly sure what I could say to make it more difficult without destroying the entire concept, because I'm sure there's going to be some players who get to this fight and they have setups and ideas that actually don't work very well with Status Mirror, and it takes them a long time to figure out how to make it, or it's very resource intensive and they don't like it, or whatever it might be. So I think for the fact that it gives you so much freedom in how you approach it, it could be like status wise, it could be magic wise, it could be physical wise, it could be overdrives that you lean into. There's just so many different ways to win this fight, and all of them are valid, and they're going to be fun to figure out and to play. So I think it's a really, really great fight, and I'm really glad Karifean decided to come up with an idea like this. So I'm going to wrap up this episode here. From here on, what you will see, most likely starting in the next episode, or maybe to continue this one, depending how long these episodes run for, I am basically going to pick things up from the first time I defeated Dark Anima and all the spoils that I got from there, and continue the march forward to the Dark Magus Sisters, and of course, eventually, Penance. So I will kind of step into the time machine and pull you guys back a few months to when I first did this, and we will continue from there. So thank you for watching, and thank you for bearing with me. Seeing this fight in this way is obviously not exactly how I intended it. I would have loved for you guys to have kind of completely seen my first reactions on my first fight. I might still keep it in, just depending. It really depends on what I see and what I feel when I'm editing, and how those reactions are and how close that fight was to how it eventually ended up. So it's a bit of a shame that it had to happen for Dark Anima, which had absolutely one of the best concepts of the whole kind of playthrough. But overall, I think it's really well executed, and I think that anyone playing this mod for the first time that hasn't watched a playthrough and they don't know what to expect, it's going to be a great moment when they see Status Mirror for the first time and try to find a way to work around it. So hats off to Karifean once again, and I will leave it here. Thanks for watching.